This is RiverTalks with Jonathan Brush, President and CEO of Unbound.
I have an Augusta County story to share with you on River Talks today. My family and I, over this past weekend, went and selected our Christmas tree. We drove out towards the mountains, very rural area, to a place of land where you got to respect whoever originally thought of this. It's probably 7 or 8 acres. It is almost entirely vertical. And somebody a long time ago planted a bunch of Christmas trees on it. Getting there requires the skills of a mountain goat. But once you get there, you can cut the tree. And they're beautiful trees. They do a great job trimming them, taking care of them. And they're really well priced, maybe because you have to be a mountain goat to get one. So we went and we got a tree, and we were pulling the tree back towards our vehicle to load up and go home. And when we had pulled in, there was a flock of domesticated ducks. So they were walking around in the yard. I had to sort of ease through them as I drove in. And this flock of ducks was crossing the road. Now, where they're crossing the road was like, I don't know, quarter, a half mile of flat, straight stretch of highway. So it's easy to see the ducks. And there was a car coming. And as I was pulling the tree and witnessing this, I was thinking, that guy's really not slowing down. And in fact, he didn't. He barreled right through the entire flock of ducks. And I'm pretty sure he deliberately swerved to hit one of them, which he successfully did and badly injured the duck, which is now flapping and squawking around on the road. And it was frustrating and shocking and annoying. It was not like the ducks had not been seen. It was sort of a deliberate duck assassination attempt. So I was annoyed with this, and we were discussing this with the people that were working the Christmas tree thing there. And as we were talking about this, the guy that was in charge of it all of a sudden had an idea. And he pointed to a gentleman who was in the other truck there, had just bought a Christmas tree. He said, I wonder if he wants a duck. And so he went back, and this fella got out, and I says, do you want a duck? Now, I live here, and I know the characters involved. And so I know here's what the question actually was. The guy that just bought a Christmas tree is the kind of guy who would be delighted to have the opportunity to butcher a duck for a Christmas dinner. And here was the opportunity because this duck was now injured. So the gentleman got out of his car. He said, oh, yeah, I'd love to have a duck. And he went and picked up the duck, and he carried it back. Now, he brought it back to my kids, and the duck had a broken leg. And so he's holding the duck, and he said, and he felt the need to tell the kids the duck was going to be fine. He let them pet the duck. Now, my children didn't have any illusions about the fate of the duck, and they gave him a bit of a quizzical look with his sort of transparent lie about the duck being okay. And so then he packed the duck up and he left. Well, the lady who was assisting the gentleman selling Christmas trees was sort of remarking about how nice it was of this gentleman to take the duck, and she wondered how he was going to fix the duck's leg, which elicited sort of stunned looks from us and our children. But we decided to not really make much ado about it, and so continued on. And then all of a sudden she stopped and she said, wait a minute, do you think he's going to eat the duck? I'm quite certain he's going to eat the duck. In fact, as a matter of fact, when we went to pick up the duck, I said to him, well, you're having a pretty good day. Got a Christmas tree and a duck dinner. And he grinned delightedly and said, yes. And then this lady stopped and she said, well, I guess it's better than it laying in the ditch. At least somebody will be able to use it. And she moved on. Now, there's a bit of a funny story about the culture of the area where I live, which I love, and I love the people involved in it. And I love their sort of realistic attitude and their ability to take what is given to them and use the resources available. But there's also such an interesting microcosm of everything that happened here. On a Christmas event, to pick a Christmas tree, we witness kind of evil and the depravity of man. The dude that hit the duck did it deliberately out of sheer cussedness. And it's a little bit startling to come eyeball to eyeball, as I looked through the windshield, at a gentleman who deliberately ran over a flock of ducks for fun, I guess. And so there's something sobering about coming into contact with evil. And I don't mean this person was totally and irredeemably evil. I just mean that they had at that moment a desire for destruction that they satisfied. Secondly, there is the people that see evil happen, see something bad happen, and recognize that there is some opportunity for restoration, or there's some opportunity to do something good with that. Nobody wanted to see the duck hurt. Nobody wanted to see the duck killed. As a matter of fact, they've been saying nice things about all the ducks just prior to that. But when those things happened, there was a desire to go ahead and make something out of that situation. And so there was a action taken to, use the duck. And then there was this kind of, you know, polite lie that we tell to children to cover up this veneer of what's wrong. There was good-hearted, but this idea that the duck is going to be fine. I was perhaps almost as disturbed by that as I was about the person that hit the duck in the first place. I think there's something important for children to be able to understand what is going on and what's happening in the world. They just witnessed somebody run over the duck. I don't think it may be a tough thing to continue to understand what's going on, but it is an essential thing to understand what is about to happen here. And then finally, I got a kick out of the lady who, had one idea and then realized it was something else and then found perspective on that new thing. And she was not necessarily as pleased with the first thought that she had, but she was able to ultimately understand what was going on. May that be true for all of us, right? That we are confronted with evil, that we find a way to do something redemptive and restorative with that, even if it's as simple as then offering somebody a duck dinner. And that when we misunderstand a circumstance and we're able to then see the truth of that circumstance, that we're able to accept that truth and find perspective on that to be able to make sense of what's going on and use that as we move forward. Well, that's a fairly good set of lessons for a strange Christmas tree story.